I think it happened. I think we're live. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Joe Jessal with Windermere Real Estate, and I'm here with Deanne Taylor from Hometown Lenders. Bear with me for just a second. I am going to open up my YouTube app and make sure we're good here. So I'm going to try to follow along. I am going to try to follow along with any comments you guys have. So feel free, drop those in. And if you guys have any questions regarding mortgages or just general real estate here at the coast or anywhere, feel free to hit those in the comments and we will answer your questions best we can. And let me see if I can find this on YouTube. This is the first time that we're going live on YouTube, so bear with us here. And I know I ask you every week, but Deanne, can you just take a minute to introduce yourself here?
Hi, I'm Deanne Taylor with Hometown Lending. So happy to be sharing information with you. Today we're going to discuss different areas in Oregon and median prices that you can anticipate. We've got some statistics from some different sources in the mortgage arena. And let's get this going.
All right, cool. And I was able to find our broadcast on YouTube. So if my chat window doesn't work on the app we're using, it'll come up there. But yeah, so like Deanne was talking about, what we want to kind of dive into today was a question that we get a lot is, what's the cost of living at the coast? You know, is it expensive out there? What's the difference there versus maybe where I'm at, whether that's there somewhere along in the valley or potentially in another state. So to start off with, I think the important thing to talk about is the fact that is just Oregon in general versus other states. So because it's all relative, right? If you're coming to from California to Oregon, guess what? It's super cheap here. We can talk all day long about the cost of living and how great it is here. But if you're coming from the Midwest, or say I had a client from Tennessee, was comparing real estate there versus here, Oregon can be a lot higher. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. I mean, Oregon does tend to be a little bit, I don't know, what would you say, Deanne? It's kind of on, I mean, Oregon, Washington, I think tends to be a little more expensive than other areas to live.
Well, it actually depends on the area in Oregon. Ocean and water is a finite resource. There's not a lot of it. So obviously, as people matriculate and move here, you're going to find prices going up. You'll see median home prices in the Lincoln County area, which you are involved in Lincoln County in Newport, so is Waldport. They're $330 for the median home prices. Whereas if you come up to Portland and in Washington County, they're $426. And all the different counties, you know, they'll have a different median price, but it's much cheaper in Oregon, on the Oregon coast. But if you're coming from Midwest, you know, we're a little more expensive. If you're coming from California and South, it's much cheaper to live on the Oregon coast.
Yeah. And so that's, you know, I just want to set the tone there. And like Deanne was saying, I mean, there is some like rural areas, some of the areas in eastern Oregon, southeastern Oregon, where you can find like smoking deals on big pieces of land and all that. But we're fairly comparable to the metro areas. You know, I think like Deanne, you're spot on there. You know, you've got your median home price in Portland is up to over $420,000.
Yeah,
You're a good $100,000 less than that. You know, Portland is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. There's a ton of people moving there. Even still, you know, there's a lot of momentum behind the tech industries and even the sports industries. A lot of those, you know, have shifted gears and moved into the Portland market. So there's a very strong driving economy there, and that the housing prices are going to follow that. What I love in this area, and this is one of the reasons I picked this area, is because when you're talking Lincoln County, so when you're going up and down the coast, here's my little whiteboard, you like that. So here's the Oregon coast. We're kind of in the middle zone here, Portland is straight across from like Seaside, Cannon Beach in the north area. Very awesome area of the coast. Like I'm trying to adjust my whiteboard here. There we go. A great area of the coast, but it gets a lot of traffic to Portland, and the home prices and the economy supports that. I mean, it reflects that. What you're going to get up there is you're going to pay a little bit more. You're going to pay a premium for that access to Portland. As you get further down the coast, what I find is where we're at, we're just far enough removed from the metro areas that it's a little bit less expensive here, but we're close enough that it's accessible. I mean, Deanne, you're a perfect example. If you're back and forth between Portland and Waldport all the time,
Yeah.
And so it's definitely close enough to make that lifestyle of a second home work, or, if you're potentially working remote in one of the metro areas. I mean, and I say metro areas because we're literally like between 2 and 3 hours from Portland, Salem, or Eugene. So those are our three main, bigger metro areas.
Well, we're also about 3.5 hours from Bend. And interesting enough, the best thing that happened with this COVID situation is that people found out working remote isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see more and more people working remote.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, and you mentioned Bend. Like I literally, right before our broadcast, was meeting with an investor that's a friend of mine from the Bend Redmond area and a builder over there. And he's like, Joe, I'm running out of property over here. I've got to expand. I've got to look at different areas. And he loves coming to the beach. And I said, well, let's talk about it. Let's look at some different things. So we're looking at different investments here. Between land and future houses. And so there's enough here that there's still like a lot of opportunity in this area. Like it's nice that we're far enough removed that, there's still that, like, you can find that cool little fixer upper house for $150,000 that, you can easily turn into a $250,000 house with a little elbow grease. Yeah, so that's where the housing market's at. And I think, I did want to jump into talking about, Deanne and I will always default to talking about houses, home loans, because we eat, live, sleep, breathe, die these things. But, I know a lot of people are just curious about like just regular cost of living stuff. What's the grocery store like? What's gas like? What's how is it? We're a little smaller area, so we don't have all the amenities of a big metro area, and how does that impact it? And honestly, I've found from living here, just everyday cost of living stuff isn't that much different. There's always those things where, we don't have the big Home Depot and things like that, where maybe I'm working on a project and I'm spending a little bit more having to go to Ames Hardware rather than Home Depot. But I pretty much always, I'm always able to find what I need. You get a little creative with the grocery stores and knowing which one to go for what and that. But, it's like we have the Fred Meyers, we have the Safeway. We have Walmart. Thank goodness we have our Walmart.
Right. And, I was just looking at more statistics. Our jobs in that area are up quite a bit higher. The hospital expanded. We know that that's bringing in some jobs. The forecast is really bright in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what? And
if you're taking groceries versus, home prices, I would gladly pay 30 more cents a dollar or 30 cents more a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
To have the beach, and it's a cheaper home.
Yeah, you're going to pay a little premium there, but and then there's kind of a weird little there's a weird little spot there too, where, you know, you're talking about the economic growth here. And I totally agree. I mean, you and I both know we're sitting right in front of progress here, you know, like where Lincoln County is just a really, really well situated area where it's growing. Like if you're looking for someplace that, you know, if you're not looking for that growth, you know, it may be worth having a conversation about going further south on the coast where you're more removed from the metro areas, because it's just we're close enough that it just keeps more and more people keep getting turned on to the idea of going a little bit further and getting into Lincoln County. You know, where 10 years ago we felt a lot more removed than we do now, where just as things grow out, things build. But with the amenities and that, you know, that's one thing to keep in mind too. This is such a tourist-driven area. We have way more here than what a town of our size would sustain if we weren't such a tourist area. You know, when you talk about, I mean, every kind of restaurant you'd ever want is here. We do have Walmart. I mean, in a town of, I mean, Newport. And I'm sure I'll get somebody comment that my numbers are totally off, but I think Newport's like 10,000 people in Newport. And in Newport, we have a Safeway, a Fred Meyer's, and a Walmart. So, and along with that, we have what, you know, at least 4 to 6 gas stations right here. So there's quite a bit for a town of 10,000 people. And now, you know, when you go a little bit, you bring in the surrounding towns, we're at like, I want to say like 30,000 people. It's about our population, but you know that the tourism thing definitely has the other, you know, there's the other side of it too, where you know, like we look like there's some downsides here. Like looking at the school system, the school district here. You know, both my kids are in the school district here. Great schools, awesome teachers, but we deal with we have close to a 20% homeless population in the school district, which is crazy, you know. And so we have a really like wide spectrum of our economic base here, you know. And so you know, you do hear that it can be hard, like jobs can be a little trickier here, like if you're not in tourism based stuff, like, you know, it's not a big metro area where you have those bigger industries driving. Like a lot of things have either something to do with tourism. We do have some fishing, a little logging, different. We got the
Hatfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, Oregon State University is growing out here. They have their marine sciences department that continues to grow. That includes the Hatfield Center. They have a big expansion project that's going on. So there's definitely things that are growing, but it's not. You know, there's a behind the curtain thing going on here too. You know, and that can be, you know, I've known people that have tried to live here and it just didn't work out for them. You know, it just they couldn't fit into the type of jobs that they were used to having being here. So there can be, you know, it takes a little commitment to want to live at the beach, depending on what you do.
Interesting. Some of the demographic information that I'm looking at.
You got it up. I'd love to hear. What do you got on your demographics you're looking at?
4.72% of the demographic in Lincoln County is the ages 27 through 35. The highest percentage in the demographic is 55 to 64, and that's 8.83% of the population makes up that demographic. 45 to 54 is 5.61, and 36 to 44 is 4.8. We also, you know, there's quite a
lot wider spread than, you know, like that. Like we hear a lot. They're like, oh, well, it's a retirement area. And like when you're pulling numbers on it, it's like it's a lot more of a wide spread,
right?
That, you know,
and the price per square foot on homes is roughly 200, whereas if you go into other areas, it's above 300. interesting, out of the total population, and it says that Lincoln County has 48,000 people.
Okay. Yep. For all of Lincoln County is 48. Yeah.
Right. Of that, about 5,000 of the renters could technically afford to purchase. And they just don't know that it's a great purchasing market because rates are so low, it bumps up your affordability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something to be, taken serious, especially as home increase. You might as well get in while they're low enough.
Yeah, man, that those interest rates are something to. It's crazy not to take advantage of that right now, because that really is like when you're talking about interest rates, and you're talking 3%. That's getting down there. Where are they at? Where's the prime at right now?
Well, remember, prime is different. I mean,
I know, but has it gone up or down in the last week?
The APR has today, it deteriorated because the shocking job statistics came out, and we have much lower unemployment than they were expecting. And along with the unemployment, there were more jobs that were available in the month of May than they anticipated. Much more jobs. More people came off of unemployment based on the jobs. And then hours per work week increased dramatically. In the Lincoln County area, historically, the appreciation in housing was, in about 5 years, your house would appreciate about 5%. The forecast right now, in 5 years, your house is going to appreciate 22%. So that's a pretty good appreciation.
Yeah.
To take advantage of. Your equity becomes your wealth. At the end of the day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because we got 3 houses that we're looking at. I tell you, I'm going from here. I'm meeting up with that investor from Redmond. I think we're going to put an offer in on a little place over here, little project. So him and his family can come spend a couple months, do a little surfing, and then we'll put it back up for sale and move on to the next one.
Love our industry.
Yes.
Your investor is it's a good position right now because it says in the statistics, and these statistics are updated constantly. There is a heavy need for new homes being built.
Yeah. Well, and that's that's that we need more homes under 300,000. That's that market that we need. I mean, that's that 5,000 people out there renting that is looking to buy. Like they need to find that $250,000 house.
Well, and you know what? If that's available, just understand that based on the forecast of the appreciation that you're going to get today, your median price on the coast is 330 average. In 5 years, it's supposed to be 405.
Yeah.
So, my suggestion is always get in while you can.
Yeah. Well, look at that place you guys got. What's it been? 4 years ago you bought that place? It's been a while. 3 years. I mean, and that was like,
well, and you
ocean view, like
you were like
250,000.
Like it. Remember, you were a little skeptical because you said, there's no walls. It's who doesn't want a dodecacon at the beach?
Yeah.
The garage.
No, all I needed to see was that deck. I'm like, whatever. I can sell this place 10 times over. We don't even have to go inside.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's a niche little community, and a lot of new construction is going on in there.
Yeah, a lot of homes coming up, and there's actually a lot of those builders in there try to stay under that 300 mark or close to it. That's
they don't all have the spectacular view, but it's a new home with really close access to the beach, and it's a it's a good place, and the beach is more private, less public.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's a great area. Well, that's the area me and Deanne and I are talking about is called Bayshore, and it's just on the north side of Waldport, and that's the area where she purchased a house. I bought my first house on the coast over there, and it's just one of those spots where it's like it holds a little bit lower than the general market, So like if your median price is $330, like in there. It may start more around 300. Like it's just a little bit more affordable. But like I've noticed, it's definitely catching up. Like that it's becoming more and more common to see houses. I mean, I've got 2 listings in there over 400, and one we're looking at negotiating on today. So that it was on the market for 48 hours, and we're already seeing offers. So,
is it a view?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's another one that's got a killer deck. But that's what now deck costs you $4.25. See, you did all right.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, gosh, this being our first time on YouTube, I see we did not get any comments, so we don't have anybody out there, but in follow-up, you guys, if anybody's watching this after the recording, feel free to drop me a comment. Drop in a comment with any kind of questions you have for myself or Deanne. I'm going to go ahead and in the comment box, I'm going to put a link to Deanne's website. All her contact info is on there, along with her online application. So you can, DeanneTaylor.com. Feel free to hit her up. I will go ahead and put my cell phone in the comments here. And you are welcome to, I'm happy to take a call. Call me anytime. That's what we like in real estate when the phone rings. So happy to hear from you. And like I said, all Deanne's contact info is on her website. She posts her cell phone right up there, so you can call her anytime. And we are happy to help you out with your real estate questions, or you're just interested in the area and you'd like to know more. I know I did a Zoom call the other day with a kid that's a college student. He was hitting me up trying to find out like how to find a place out here because the college doesn't have dorms. And so we did a whole session just on walking through like, okay, here's how you find the right Facebook groups, and hit up the right people. And, because it's like, there's all kinds of people that have some kind of, the little apartment over the garage or something. So it doesn't have to be just, just I'm ready to buy a house. That's a lot of the clients that both Deanne and I have. It all starts with a relationship. So we're really in the relationship building business. We don't have anything to sell. We just facilitate one person selling their house, finding another person that needs a house, and putting those people together. So we're happy to talk about anything that's real estate or moving related. Deanne, do you have any closing comments for us?
Nope. See you at the beach. Very excited to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys coming? You got the car packed? What's up?
We're coming next week.
Oh, you just want to wait for that sunny weather to pass and get back into the rain?
We're going to stay for a while.
Oh, nice.
Some stuff to take care of, here in the valley.
Cool.
And then, it's time to come out. I will tell you, as an allergy sufferer, like I am, even pulling weeds, it takes me down. The beach is a perfect place to go. My allergies are little to none there.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, it's been crazy too, huh? I know, like the pollen on all the cars. Even I know when the pollen on the cars here is bad, I I know the valley, everybody's dying.
Yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the grass, the grass is right now we're in grass season and we're in hay season. And yeah, I've got allergies that are pretty tough. But when I go to the coast, I don't have to go to the coast.
Well, we have it's a little overcast today, but we were pulling we had one of those 68 sunny days there yesterday. So
Nice.
I was thinking about you when you were talking about your hay fever.
Yep.
I know where you wouldn't have that. Well, cool, Deanne. I really appreciate all your time, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And like I said, feel free to reach out to Deanne or myself, and we will hopefully see you here next time. Maybe we'll do a live. Maybe we'll do a live one on the next one. One camera.
That would be cool.
All right, Deanne. Well, we will see you when you make it over here. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.